Hey friends, I'm so glad you're here with me today. My name is Helman, and I want to share 5 techniques for making really quick and simple cards with you today. Let's get started. The products I'm going to be using to share these techniques with you are some that are going to retire very soon. Now, if you are watching after these retire, don't worry, because these techniques I'm sharing you can use with any of the products in your collection. But these right here are retiring really soon on May 2nd. They may sell out before then. They're while supplies last, but if you love the products I'm sharing, you definitely want to pick these up soon. I have the Here Together stamp set, the Here For You die set, which includes hands, and then one large die. These are my favorite parts right here. One large die that says Here For You and one that says You Matter. This beautiful paper that is called All Together, and then the Natural Tones blends markers. Now, these are going to be available in our next catalog, so don't worry about those. So we have some double-sided black and white paper. I love black and white paper because you can do so many different things with it. But let's get started with these techniques I want to share with you. And the very first one is to create foam die cuts. So what I mean by that is to use a piece of our foam adhesive sheets. It's kind of like our foam dimensionals that you can use to pop up die cuts and punches, but it's one big sheet all together. So what I like to do is cut a piece of paper, whatever I want my die cut to look like. I want to cut my piece of paper and prepare that. And then I want to cut a piece of the foam sheet that is the same size. So here I'm going to be using the You Matter die on this. And I have my foam sheet and my paper cut to the right size. I want to remove paper backing from one side of the foam adhesive sheet. It does have paper backing on both sides. Once I've done that, I want to lay my designer paper over top. Give it a good press. And I will mention this paper, this Waves designer paper, is also retiring May 2nd and is another really pretty paper pack. Now I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. Die cut this the same way as normal. Now, even though that is thick with that foam on there, this actually runs through the machine really easily. So I'll crank this through and you'll get to see the end result. I will mention, I've done a lot of the things I'm going to be sharing with you today. I've done other tutorials on, I did do a tutorial just on these foam adhesive sheets. And if you want links on any of these other things, what you want to do is use that link in the video description below. It will take you to my website where you can get those other links. And the products I'm using are also linked down below. So now after I've die cut this, I do want to be careful with it, especially with these words, to get this all removed without tearing anything. But it is basically one large sticker, okay, this foam adhesive sheet, because it has the adhesive on both sides. It has basically turned it into a sticker now with those letters. Now I'm going to be really careful and ease this off of here. And here you can see what I created with it. Now let's go on to another fun technique. And this is one that I'm not really sure I've done this before, but I thought it would be a good idea. So I got the supplies for it. And this is to stamp the same image on all 4 sides of a square. I think this would be really fun with flowers or leaves or branches, probably other types of stamps as well. But I thought this one, this little Pinky Promise stamp, would be really cute like this. So I cut a square that measures 4 by 4 inches. I am lining it up over here on this side where the bottom part can overhang over here in the open space. And I am going to stamp this 4 times. So we'll stamp once right where it's at, and then we'll rotate our cardstock. And this creates a really neat effect that you'll start to see as we turn it and continue stamping. But like I said, this would be really fun with leaves or flowers. So here you can see it's creating like one big circle of pinky promises. Isn't that neat? So that's a fun technique you can try as well and place this on a card. Just a really quick, fun way to create a card design. The third technique I want to share with you is super fast and super easy, and it uses these blends, natural tone markers that I mentioned. These are our alcohol markers. I love, love, love these blends alcohol markers. And this is one of the many products and projects I've done. Pretty detailed tutorial on these if you want more information. And let's get these in the right order. So I didn't pick out any particular four markers here. I just grabbed 4. And we have 10 total of the blends skin tone markers. There are 5 sets of 2 that you can choose from if you want all the skin tones or just a few of them. So I am just going from light to dark, scribbling on the back. And as you can see, that's kind of a neat background to use with a card. Now, if you want these to blend together a little bit better, the key is after you've added a darker color, going back with the lighter color. So this was my darkest. I'm going to go back with that next lightest over the dark and go back into the area that I had done with this marker the first time and go back over that and then let that sit for a minute. This one I'm going to go back over with here and blend those areas together. And then this lightest one, I want to go from the light, between the light color and that second color. And as these sit, they're really going to blend together. So really quick and easy way to make a unique background. The fourth fun technique I want to share is for spritzing over a die cut. Spritzers are a really fun tool. I don't share them a lot in my projects, but you can create some really neat effects with them. And I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. So here's my spritzer. I've added some, this is actually a new color coming here in just a few days. This is Starry Sky is the color of ink I put in here. I die cut that piece that says here for you. Now, to get this to stick and stay in place, I put a little bit of our multi-purpose glue on the back, just a few tiny little dots, and let that dry. Now, to make sure it sticks, here's that multi-purpose glue. To make sure it doesn't stick too much, what I like to do is put it on my hand or on my clothes a few times, pick up a little bit of lint so that that glue isn't too sticky. And then I'm not going to press real hard. I just want to press a little bit to get it to stay in place. And I'm going to spritz over top of this. Want to spritz enough so you can definitely see the difference between the part that's covered and the part that's not covered. Now I'm going to let that dry here for a second while I share a second one with you. So here's another idea, is to use the negative space from around your die cut. So depending on what your die cut is, this may work or it may not. This one I'm not holding in place, so I'm going to be really careful to hopefully not spray too hard and shift it. So there is a second one. And last but not least, let's look at our 5th technique. And this is one of my favorites. You may have seen my tip video probably about a year ago on this, but this is just a really awesome way to make a lot of die cuts and make them quickly. So I need my Stamparatus again. Stamparatus comes with 2 different plates, and a lot of times I only use my Stamparatus with 1 at a time. But what I can do is lift these in and out. So here is my second plate. What I want to do is stamp these hands. This is the die cut I'm using, the hands die cut. I want to stamp this onto my grid paper. I'm going to hold this in place with a magnet. And it doesn't matter where I stamp this. So we'll stamp it out here in the open space. Now, I have one of the negatives from when I did that die cutting here. And what I want to do is tape that in place over top of where I stamped it. So you want to get this lined up really well because this is going to affect how your stamping looks on all of your die cuts. So what you do first is do your die cutting. When you do your die cutting, one of the ways this saves time is that you can die cut through several sheets of paper at the same time. 2 is normally what I do if I'm doing a lot of die cutting. I actually did all 3 this time and I didn't have any issues with it. So once you have those done, you can slide them into the little spot where they fit right there. Ink your stamp. Stamp. Now sometimes these are easy to pick up and sometimes they're not. If it is not coming out very well for you, what you want to do is use that sticky end. If you take your pick tool, it lifts right up and pulls it right out of there. And then we can replace it. Ink, stamp, replace it. Ink and stamp. So this really, like I said, can save a lot of time when you're die cutting for a lot of cards. Hope you enjoyed these techniques today. I would love to see if you try these techniques. Send me some pictures. I love to see projects that I'm helped to inspiring. If you're interested in any of the products, use the links in the video description below. I hope you have a blessed day and I hope to see you again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.